Evolve360, conscious evolution. What will it take to evolve consciously, individually, and as a society? How will you lead a life of business with soul? Welcome to the Evolve360 Shelley Shell Show with hosts
Cheli Grace
and Shelley Devine. Hey, Soul Sister. We are here in Miami.
In Miami, sitting on a deck. Right behind us is a golf course, and we've been doing our business planning retreat. Actually, we started in Marco Island last week, and we decided, okay, let's move to Miami. We were in Fort Lauderdale yesterday, and
now we're here in Shelley's backyard, which overlooks this beautiful golf course.
It's really nice. It's very calm and serene. It's a perfect, beautiful day to be out, and we're just discussing, and we're throwing things around as we move our platform online and share with you guys, the work that we've done individually and together for the last 15 years, and we've birthed it now into a business. So
we're going to be launching it in January. I'm very excited about it. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And it's a long time coming, girlfriend.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, what issues or what things are you concerned about moving into 2021? What are you? Do you have anything?
Yes, I do.
Concerns or?
I do. Because you see, this time has given me a lot of time to think and reflect. I was always super busy with many projects and never had that downtime to really think about how I wanted my life to move forward. And one of the things that I'm really working on is just going more with the flow and being more at ease and letting situations, not controlling them, but letting them just play out in the way that is easy. Easy.
And what does that mean? To come in, to be creating a life of ease, because a lot of times we're pushing up against, or we feel like, there's this old paradigm of, you're at the bottom of the hill and you got this rock and you're pushing it up the freaking mountain to get where you need to go. And it's like, why do we have to do that? If we are pre-paving what we want in our life, and then we allow, this is the key, is we allow it to come in, and we're not rejecting it, or we're not resisting it because it requires maybe some change. It becomes easy. Like sometimes you gotta let the universe say, okay, I gotta sleep on it tonight or something. Like we're writing up our new bios, for instance, and Shelley just wrote this wonderful bio about something in her past and how she's bringing it forward. And because we have to bring our history forward with us sometimes if it's good. We don't X out everything, but we, the things that are good that we want to keep in our life as we're moving forward into, say, 2021, we have to kind of reassess and then look at things and then bring it forward, but we have to do it with ease. So you might sleep on it and you allow the universe to say, okay, come on in. And because you get inspired, right?
Yes.
You had some inspirations, you're like, oh my God, I gotta write this down, and it came out like so effortlessly, right?
Yes.
It comes out effortlessly. So now for me, I'm like, I need to update some things for me, and I'm like, we discussed a little bit, and I'm like, I'm gonna sleep on it, it's gonna come in effortlessly. And that's what you want in your life. That's just a tiny example of what could come in. It just happened for her, and I know it'll happen for me when I rewrite mine, because sometimes we get stuck, writer's block, and we can't do something. That's just an example of things.
And something else that I want to add to that is totally part of the law of attraction, and that is not putting conditions on things or situations. Like, for instance, what Shelley is saying, I started writing that story yesterday, and I really wanted to get it out yesterday. But then, you see, I put a condition on it. I put a condition on it. And what I decided to do, Shelley's like, just let it simmer. So I opened it up this morning and I finalized it. It was so easy. It came out really well. And to me, a lot of times we set conditions. And when you say, how do you want to move forward, Shelley, in 2021? Well, I don't want to set conditions. I don't want to precondition situations, events, people. I know that historically I've had that because of traditions, beliefs, family things, and you feel guilty. Oh my God, I'm not doing the same thing my mom did, you know?
Yeah.
But why? It's a different world, it's a different era, it's a different energy, it's a different circumstance. And when you don't put conditions on things, they come in easy and effortlessly.
And then you have that whole creative kind of process happening too, and it feels good.
Yes.
It actually really feels good, and you feel alive.
Yes.
And you feel like, wow, you feel more inspired and more motivated to, take it to the next level. And then you're more open to what actually will come in to support whatever it is you did in the past, to get to the places that you want to go to, whatever your goals may be.
Yes.
Or if, like we're building a business right now. And so we started this business back when COVID began. And we didn't know exactly. I mean, it all kind of started with a phone call, which Shelley has written about several times, and we've talked about it several times. But one of the things is, we started out, Shelley had said to me, he goes, we should write a book.
Right.
All right? That's how it kind of really started. And then I turned around and said, okay, we didn't have a subject matter. What are we going to write about, right? I'm like, so I slept on it, and I said, let's do the podcast. And the podcast is giving us the information for the book.
Yes.
But it also has inspired all these other things that we didn't really think about, or we had no idea. We're kind of letting this evolve naturally, with ease, and it's been effortless, and we've had a boatload of fun doing it during COVID. And now going into, say, 2021, we're moving forward effortlessly.
Yes.
I had no idea that I was going to be down in Florida during this time.
I know. And your friends call her like, oh my God, it's 20 degrees and there's 5 inches of snow. And she's like, well, it's 75 here.
Hello. But I didn't plan on coming down here.
Yeah.
It just kind of, it effortlessly manifested itself, and I'm here, and we're actually progressing forward. We worked really hard, but we've also gotten a lot done, and we had a few little like little tough spots, because we were learning something new, but the communication was still there, which was really good, and we're still kind of, okay, that was good, but we had I felt like a huge leap after that, to get whatever it is that we needed to get done to create our platform. And we were learning at the time while we were creating the platform. I had a little bit of experience with the technical aspect of stuff, and Shelley's learning some of this stuff too, as well as myself, and it's become like, okay, once we got through those little chaotic part, not chaotic, but those little parts that you're like, oh my God, my brain can't take it, and once we got through that, we were like, okay, we're zipping along now again. It was like a little like, I don't know, like you're on
like a plateau. You hit a plateau. It's like when you're dieting, you're coming along, you've lost 5 pounds, all of a sudden, boom.
And you get stuck.
You can't.
A little teeny stuck, like a little, but then we just we move through the glitch, and then all of a sudden the train starts going again, and it's really been great. It's really been great, right?
It's been amazingly
But life is
great.
Like that, right?
Yes,
life is like that, and creating something, when you're creating something, sometimes you get these, I guess it's an analogy or a metaphor of what you're going through in life, and then you're learning to allow what you want in, and you're releasing whatever resistance you had towards the change to allow it in. And I guess that's what I wanted to say.
Yes, and sometimes we have to be kind to ourselves, and we have to take a step back and maybe take a break, and then go back to it, because then you look at it in a different light and a different energy. And I know for me, I had several businesses, I've done a lot of things, but sometimes things weren't going well, and you just kept pushing along because, you have a deadline.
Right, it's so hard to do things
that way.
It is,
it's exhausting, right? Ugh. So I said to Shelley, we're going to just take this as it comes, and not put conditions. Yes, we have deadlines, we have like soft deadlines, and we have...
It's been soft, all of them have been soft, but we've met them, which is, can you believe it? I mean, that's like really, to me, it's extraordinary. It's not like still pushing, I got to meet that deadline. And then you got like, what do you have? You got like kind of something that might not be like what you really think it should be. This feels right. Like what we're doing, it feels like really good, feels really right. It doesn't feel forced. Right. It doesn't feel, and that's, I think, what you want to strive for when you're moving into the new year and creating, a home life with your families, if you have kids, and then you're working with colleagues. You don't want to force things, and you don't want to be continually doing that, because I know that's not what to strive for. You want to have that full aspect of all the aspects of your life that are all falling into place with ease, and really being aware of any resistance that's coming into what you want to manifest with your goals.
And guys, situations are going to happen. Power plays are going to come in.
Huge.
People are going to push our buttons. In situations that might not have anything to do with the situation, but with something that happened to us in our past.
Oh wow, yeah.
That now, that volume is being turned up, and you're projecting all that shame or humiliation on the situation. So you got to just take a step back and breathe, and maybe really look at it from a different angle and say, is this really my stuff, or is it?
Is it stuff from the past? Like, people talk about karma, but I don't think they have a real deep understanding what karma is. And when you're manifesting, we've been in COVID, all right? And we're moving into, an atmosphere that has a new dynamic. And I think businesses, like if you own a business or something, your business, the structure of it has changed, because now people can work from home, for one, all right? So, and some people might really like that and thrive in that arena. Other people might really need to be in the office and work. So there's a lot more choice in what businesses can do. And I forgot where I was going to go with this. I was like,
But even the way that you manage your teams, the way that you interconnect with others. Because before, I know that we used to sit around a board table and and have masterminds, but now you do that on Zoom, or how do you do it? It's a whole new way, and we have to have more. What was the word we were talking about this morning? Not only intuition, but remember that word that we were talking about, because we were going to write about it. Intuition, and you have to have more imagination. Imagination. We need to bring that imagination into our lives. And things that we used to do that might not work today, you can still do them, but you got to do them in a different way.
Yeah. So as we're going into, we came out of COVID and we're going into 2021, and we are trying to manifest something new. There's a lot of paradigm shifts that are happening now. We've already seen them, say, in the last 20 to 30 years with the women's movement and women being in the workforce. But then women are also in that dynamic of, okay, I'm raising a family and I'm at home, working from home, raising my family. I don't get a break. I don't get a break. And that is really hard. And I've seen that with some of my clients, and I'm like, geez, and they don't have time for, every aspect of their life. Saying like their fitness health or their spiritual health. And so those things might get missed. So when you're creating, as we move forward into creating the lifestyle and the quality of life that you want, you got to project it, and you got to see yourself, you got to feel it, but you also have to see it that, I'm going to create this with ease. But the biggest gap that people play with is this karmic backlash that things from the past come in. This is what I was going to say before, is this karmic backlash when people don't understand karma, is like you have karma with your families, what you had with your folks. You also have karma with how you relate to the global, like everybody. That's why COVID is so fascinating to me, is because we created if you look at the big conscious level, we all created the situation to take a time out. We've talked about this before in other podcasts, but to take a time out. So if you look back at the past, and if you have something that creeps in and it throws you a little off course and you get that little bump, it's because all you need to do is be made aware, so you can allow the new things that you want to come in. And the universe is just being, with a kind hand, showing you, okay, this is what you need to release because it ain't serving you anymore. And it'll show you how to get to that next allowing that creative and imagination thing, because you have to open the space for it and allow it to come in. I know that was like a weird kind of,
it's a lot, but let me ground it for you guys.
A little woo woo out there. I know that
working moms, you're working at home. The kids are now being homeschooled, or maybe they're back at school. You know, your whole life has changed because of COVID. So maybe you have something in the past. Let's say, I know my mom was like this. You know, you have to have a really neat and clean house, right?
And so you're stressing. I got to clean the house.
Well, and here's the thing. So you get all stressed out because now you're juggling all these balls, and on top of that, you know, your kids are at home like 85% of the time. Jeez. And now you're stressing because you're exhausted. You're doing all of this stuff, but your house is like in disarray. So that's going to cause stress. So you need to take a step back and say, okay, you're being critical of yourself because maybe your mom was critical, you know, of keeping a clean house. I know my mother was very critical about that. I was into perfectionism. So perfectionism, you have to look at it. What are you going to release that maybe doesn't serve you today? Maybe it's okay. Maybe the kids need chores. Maybe you need to do things in a different way so that the house maybe gets, you know, it's not perfect, but it's
and then
not.
The kids like that too.
Yes.
Like you're being inclusive because they just want to mimic what you're doing anyway.
It's not in disarray.
Yeah.
And then you're not that stressed out.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to think about it and look at it from a different angle. Because that's what I've had to do with many things, you know, just maybe look for it in a different angle.
I know. I see these high performance women that are, you know, trying to figure out, and I feel like on some level they're slightly depressed because they're
exhausted.
They're exhausted.
I was there
They
a
have
long time ago.
the mental mind muck going on because they're like micromanaging. They're thinking, okay, I got to get to the grocery store, or I have to make sure the kids get to school. I got to prepare their lunch. I got to think about what are we having for dinner. You know, I got to actually, you know, how am I going to show up for my husband or, you know, my spouse or whatever, and whatever, and plus, and then it's the work. You know, whatever they have to do for, you know, the 9 to 5, whatever that might be, they have to show up for that. They have to show up for their Zoom meetings. So they got all that going on in their head.
It's a lot. Yeah.
So I think as women move forward to manage that, plus you want to go on vacation or whatever you want. There's all these things that you want to manage, and then you're feeling like, zzz. That's not a good vibration, for one, all right? We have to calm down and not compare to what's external. If we want to manage all these things, whatever's those details that are in the middle or in the midst of it, we have to let go of it. And like what you had said too about the perfection, we don't need to be perfect. You know, like the bed might not need to be made. If we got into, you know, like a system of efficiency and could kind of do these things and simplify our life, but that takes time. That takes time to do and to learn those things.
I've had to let go sometimes because I like my house being perfect.
Yeah, same here.
And, you know, sometimes, like this morning, my house, we've had a lot of people, you know, we've been, you know, doing our retreat.
Well, look at, I came and spent the time with her. She's like, oh my God, my office is a disaster. I have clothes everywhere. What am I going to do? So, you know what we did? I didn't care. She thought, she was like, oh my God, I'm worried. What is she going to think of me? This is probably what's going on in her little brain there, you know, like is saying, oh my God,
Shelley isn't perfect.
I'm not perfect. My house is imperfect. Okay, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care because I know, like, you know, my house sometimes is messy, and then I pick it up, and then it gets clean. But we came, and what did we do? Zip, 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 quick. Put things in a bag, took them to the storage unit. Now she doesn't even have to think about it because that's where they were gonna go. But you know, like, it was simple.
So we live in the moment.
Yeah,
and we let things happen. And we don't put conditions on things.
Yes.
And we try not to stress. And we look things from a different place and a different angle.
And enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride. And we have had such a good time together. And I think if you let go of some of those things that you think might be important, the rocking chair test, which test or whatever we talked about, where you want to be when you're 90.
When you're 90,
are you going to think about like the bed that wasn't made, or the
are you going to have any regrets?
Well, it's true. It's like those things that we get caught up in. You know, in that moment of like trying to, the mind muck, you know, like I get that, what you're saying, but I want to get this point across is when you're actually in the moment and you're worried. See, these are low vibration things, and this is what happens when you're creating, okay? So when you're creating your future, if you're in that state of worry and like a little bit of like, oh shit, I got to do this. Oh shit, I forgot to do that. Or oh my God, what's going to happen? Or oh my God, I didn't balance my checkbook today. Or what, like if you're in that constant state of worry or like
it's like a low buzz.
It is that zzz going. That is not a good vibration to create what's coming in, say, 2021. You have to relax, chill out. Those little things like the clothes on your couch that didn't really matter because I was coming over, didn't matter. We solved it. It was like done. And her vibration, my vibration, a lot easier, right? But in the past, my vibration would have been very similar. I'm like, oh shit. Especially when my kids were smaller, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have Christmas Eve here. I got to have everything perfect. And my ex-husband, I'm throwing daggers at him because he's lying on the couch or whatever. Like, daddy's on the couch and then the kids are like messing up everything I just cleaned. And that's what the moms are dealing with. And
it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And then they have to work and whatever. And it's like, that's the vibration you don't want to. So when you're creating to 2020, as you're moving into your future, you have to really relax and say, when I'm in my rocking chair, are those clothes on that couch really going to matter when I'm later on down the road? What's going to matter is the interactions or the interactions you have with your children, getting, the mud across the floor or whatever when the kid ran through the house or something, or just silly little things. Those aren't going to matter because you're going to look back at it and say, oh my God, even though it was tough trying to, I didn't get any sleep or whatever because the kids were up at 4 a.m. or something like that.
I know.
And you gotta go to work, or you gotta do this, that, or the other thing. You're gonna be like, what were the things that were important? Well, baking cookies in the kitchen being a mess.
Yes. So with that said, what are you guys bringing forward into 2021 to serve you? What intention have you set to make your life different and have more joy, freedom, ease?
Yes, and what's your emotional state?
Yes.
Start to notice what you're feeling emotionally as you move forward, and what can you let go of? What can you relax about? What can you allow in? Where is your resistance? Where's the resistance? Because that's the thing that's hanging you up, resistance.
Yes, resistance. So we've got some surprises coming your way that we're going to share with you. Should we share with them now?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Why don't you guys go on over and join Evolve360 Life on Facebook, because we are going to do a big reveal in January, or maybe even before.
Oh, we might. Well,
we might do it before, but stay tuned.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of things to share, and
Yeah, I think it's going to be. We're looking forward to a fantastic 2021.
Yes.
We want to bring so much to you guys to help you manage and move forward to start to manifest your highest quality of life. And when we say that, we mean all aspects of your life, not just your career, not just your home life. We mean like your spiritual life. What happens? Where's your sense of awe? We're also talking about your fitness, your level of wellness, your health. We're talking about your social life too. How's your social life? Do you have one? Some people don't. Like I'm as a single person right
COVID
now.
has put a black on everything right now.
Hell yeah, I'm a single girl, man. I like to get out and date or something, but I'm like, I haven't since COVID, but I am.
Now you've
but
been
I feel
busy
good.
working.
I've been busy working, but I've been
creating.
having fun, and my social life has been with my closest friends and colleagues, and some of my boot campers. I'll see them on occasion, and I get to see them on Zoom, so that's my social. But what's that like? And then what is your financial life like, or what is your helicopters going by? That's a big helicopter. and then it's like it's all there's 12 categories, and it's like how are you creating that? What is your life vision? How do you see your life as you move forward with the people that you care about most and that you love? Too, how do you see that moving forward?
And are you stuck? Because I know last year at this time I was in California. I had just taped a show with Jack Canfield. I had just unveiled my brand new website and brand.
Wow, right?
And all of a sudden, COVID hit.
You did a pivot, man.
Total pivot. COVID hit.
Total pivot.
And I couldn't do public speaking.
Yeah.
I couldn't travel. All the things that I was doing stopped because the whole world stopped. And now,
But tell
fast
them,
forward.
Shell, Shell, about how you felt during that time, though, too. You were feeling like you were searching for something, you said.
Well,
and
I was, here's what happened.
it was a great opportunity, what she was doing.
Great opportunity.
But there was something that she was listening to internally, too.
Because I always, since okay, so I went to study with Carolyn. That's where Shelley and I met 15 years ago. We went and studied sacred contracts together. It was a wonderful journey. And at the time, I had just gotten accepted into grad school to get my doctorate degree. And I was enrolled, I was ready to run with it. And, I was going to be a PhD, get my PhD. But something told me, no, join Carolyn, because I really loved her work and it was really calling me. So what I did was I followed my intuition. And little did I know that intuition has led me where I am today with Shell. But also as a leader, it totally helped me create a whole new way for me to lead inside of myself and externally. When I had 150 people that I managed, it totally changed my life.
But also, too, you had that hang time. I'm gonna bring this up till just last year before COVID, where she was out with Jack Canfield, and you were kind of out there. Didn't you say to me? I mean, maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought you were saying, it was something I wanted to do, but there was something about it that
it was
might
missing.
not have. There was something that was
there was something missing.
and
there was something that was missing.
That's what I wanted you to talk about.
What was missing? Because Shell is different. Shell has always been out there, living in her, A game, in her rawness. And, but me, I was a career professional, and I always did my work that I did with Carolyn archetypally on the inside, never on the outside. And that's what was missing. So I had to integrate it. And that's what happened when we had our call during COVID.
Yeah.
And we started going back to when we first met and all the intentions that we had set, that we wanted to have an online school, all the dreams and passions that you have in your soul that now we've birthed. We've totally birthed.
There was a serious hang time there.
Yeah,
there was
serious hang time.
We had to be ready for this too, I think. I think we had to go through some stuff.
Well, we had to go through our own internal personal stuff
sure.
to get here.
Yeah.
And also I had to just say to myself, I have to live life in a 360-degree way.
Yeah.
Because being an archetypal profiler is what Shelley and I do really well.
Oh, yeah.
Really well. But I never talked about that before.
Because it was woo-woo. It was like people didn't understand what we were talking about.
They didn't. I didn't want to show up with, people that, I'm a leader, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, what is she talking about?
Right.
Because it's a world out there, but now the world is different. I think people are more evolved and they're more open to different dynamics.
Yeah.
And archetypal language has been here since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
It started with Carl Jung. It actually started with Freud, then Carl Jung took it to the next level, then
Carolyn took it to the way level.
Joseph Campbell, then Carolyn totally unleashed it into the world.
Yeah.
And took it
on
to
all
whole,
three consciousness levels, which we were talking about in our 5-day power up experience.
Yes, absolutely. In our 5-day power up experience, we talk about that because what people don't realize, and I realized it as a leader, and now I teach it at the university to people in my MBA program on leadership that I teach, and that is that leadership starts from the inside.
Yes.
So those of you that are leaders, managers, CEOs, you run companies, even running your own household as a mom, as a CEO of your house.
Yeah.
Leadership starts from the inside, and if you're not feeling good about yourself on the inside, if you don't have, I want to say a spiritual practice, but just you don't feel, you don't integrate whatever. The outside is not, it's not congruent.
Yeah.
So now I'm living my best self because I've integrated my inside life with my outside life, and that's what was missing because I was missing that component of talking archetypes.
And you were seeking. It was awesome because she was seeking, say, just pre-COVID. This is how
Right.
fantastic this is, and how fantastic the universe, and how you manifested this too.
Right.
Okay, is she's out there with these great people who are authors of books, and
they're amazing.
you're out and you're
I'm
you're
an
in
author.
that.
I've written 6 books
it's,
too.
It's
but
like being a plane, and she's on course for something, but she doesn't know quite what it is,
Right.
and so she kind of skews off, and she's going in that direction. And when we're creating our goals, say for 2021,
Right.
she had this goal last year. She's gonna maybe write a new book or something.
I was writing a book.
and
Rich
and,
Connections.
Okay,
Yes.
so and she had a website. She put all this this effort and
I was
energy.
doing doing a lot of coaching, you know, for leadership and communication.
All this effort, but there was something that was missing in that, right? And she knew it. I knew it. Okay, and so here it is, and then 3 months into 2020, COVID hits. Okay, and then she's like, wait a minute, you maybe had some downtime to think or whatever. You got on the phone with me, but there was a huge pivot. She put this is where sometimes when we're creating something new in our lives and we're like, okay, we're going this way, and then all of a sudden we get so invested in something. This is the great thing about Shelley. She invested a lot of money in that.
Yes,
that going in that direction.
My team, everything. Yes.
And then she did a freaking, it wasn't just a 180, it was a 360 degree pivot, because internally she felt something, this other tug. And this is what we got to listen to inside ourselves.
Your
and we
intuition.
struggle with this, and we wonder why our lives are the way they are currently. And if it's not, we don't feel completely fulfilled or happy because we're missing that sense of awe and inspiration and everything, and a connection with God and Source. But she listened to it, boom, and here we are today. And there's no turning back.
No.
Now
I love what I'm doing.
And it's the same. I mean, it's the same for me. I mean,
I'm totally happy.
Yeah, and this is even more exciting for us as we move forward to bring this information. This is valuable, hugely valuable information to you guys. And I feel the same way too, in that, I mean, I love teaching boot camp. I love being outside, but one of the things is I was commuting, going back and forth from Boston to New Hampshire, and it was a lot. And I've had the rest time that COVID gave me, like the downtime, and I could get my boot camp online and do it through Zoom. It's not quite the same, but I allowed myself to not resist the change of something that I had been putting out into the ethers. This is, I need some sort of change. How is my life going to shift and change or whatever? And welcome it in. At first it was a little like sketchy.
Right.
And then this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And 2 years prior to this, I was doing, I learned how to do podcasting. I invested a lot in that. And I learned how to do a business accelerator, an online kind of development course.
Right.
And I'm bringing all that forward now, but during that time when I was learning that, nothing felt right to me. And I couldn't put together a program that I felt like it just didn't feel right.
And that's how I felt
so
too.
Now it's like the stuff that I wanted to do, and I'm like, oh my God, we're doing it.
And it's effortless.
And it is effortless, and that's the shocking thing about it. And
that's what we want to share with you guys.
Because it was so, in the beginning, like all those other things that I did prior to this, it was like pushing up a hill, and it never quite felt right. And it was okay to let that go.
Right.
Even, like it was okay to let it go, because the universe was working, and it said, okay, here comes COVID, boom, her and I back together. So, I mean, COVID might have been a horrible experience for some people, but I could say for sure it hasn't been for me. And because of this interaction, what it
because
opened
our whole
up,
life changed.
it opened up new doors.
But I wanna piggyback on something that you said, Shell, and that is you let everything go. And what I want people to know is, I invested a lot of money revamping my whole website and rebranding how I was going to show up for 2020. And to me, that was just more life experience that I got. I didn't. You let it go, but you take it and you up level. And that's what I want you guys to know. Because Shelley's experience doing podcasts, my experience, doing, professional speaking, being a guest, on national news and writing my books, I'm not going to continue the subject matter that I did. I've up level. So now we've joined forces, but you bring all those experiences, you connect your dots, and you show up even richer with more to give. And I think that's where Shell and I are right now, that we've had so much life experiences. We met 15 years ago and went through Carolyn's CMed Institute, which was a total life changer.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
2 years of like the soul boot camp, that journey. And here we are. We have so much richness, life experience
to share with you
guys. We're very practical. We're both moms. We've both been through marriages, divorces. We've had loss in our lives of people that we adore. And life goes on, guys. And what we just want to say is, are you living your best life? Are you totally happy inside and fulfilled? What are you going to do when you're 90 years old, sitting on that rocking chair? Are you going to have any regrets? you know, life is meant to be lived, and it's meant to be joyful, happy, and effortless. So we hope that you can join our 5-day Power Up experience, because we are, you know, having fun. We want to have fun with you guys. We've got stories to tell that you're going to be in stitches. They're a hoot. Okay? And then we got a surprise for you after that experience is over.
Very good.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll share it as we move along. So
Yes.
we're gonna just keep under lock and key.
Yes. Our New Year's surprise for you.
Yes, absolutely. So if you like this episode, we're gonna wind it down now. If you like this episode, leave a review, and because it helps people find the show. And on the review, mention how, you know, we might have inspired or motivated you or helped you in some way. Okay, and remember to subscribe or download on iTunes, or you can watch us on YouTube, because it will be there, and you can find everything you need to know at our website,
Evolve360show.com.
This is
Shelley Grace
and Shelley Devine with Life and Business with Soul. See you on the next Evolve360
show.
Shelley.
And I hope to see you on the inside of the 5-day Power Up experience. You can sign up on Facebook at Evolve360 Life.
See you on the inside. Bye.